staring at you right now. I'm like, that's what I do all the time.
How does it feel playing the role of a mother, being a parent yourself, in such a scary world?
I mean, I think it ultimately just helps me so much. It grounds everything that this woman is going through so much for me. It's a very deeply personal role for me to play her, because I think what she's experiencing, to the intensity that she does, is my worst fears as a parent, you know. She has this kind of maternal ferocity that I think all mothers have, but hers is just stretched to the limits in this environment. So I really love her. I like admire her as a person, and I just love playing her.
She's an amazing character.
She's cool.
If these monsters in A Quiet Place exist in the real world, what noise do you think is going to be the most difficult for you to control?
Sneezing or coughing.
Well, I like talking to myself a lot, so...
I'm just talking to myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can relate to that.
My lipstick is so dry. It's melting.
That's a mental...
Yeah, it's a thing.
If a monster apocalypse were to happen, who would you want as your sidekick?
Oh my gosh, let's hope it doesn't. But someone from maybe the military or someone who knows how to survive as a naturalist, can survive in the woods, knows how to make fires, knows how to hunt or to read maps. I can't do any of those things. So I'm sort of helpless in that category.
I think fear is such a difficult emotion to portray. What do you usually do to get into character?
I try not to pass out from all the heavy breathing. I think I always feel kind of lightheaded doing the Quiet Place movies, because there's a lot of kind of breath holding, and I don't know. You just go somewhere else, I guess. Just go somewhere else.
Kind of like a creative thing.
Well, I start thinking about what real fear looks like, and I realize that actually, usually when someone's really afraid, they become absolutely catatonic. It's quite still, it's quite contained. And so, you know, you see people in movies like, you know, it's like, I think that that's probably not what people do when they're genuinely terrified. And so, I don't know, it's a hard thing to portray. It's a tiring thing to portray.
What do you think the movie industry can do better in terms of representation?
Well, thank you for asking that question. I hope this film can inspire more people from our community who are writers, producers, directors. I hope the industry becomes more open-minded and not just about deaf people, but the disabled community, and how can we mine our communities for telling their stories. Their stories can be presented not only in front of camera, but you know, bringing in people who to work behind the camera, to have closed captions, to have access for everyone in our community. I think these are all things we could do.
So A Quiet Place is essentially a story about family and survival, right? But I'm sure when all odds are stacked against you, you would feel like, you know, you kind of want to just give up hope, right? So what do you think will keep you going if you actually lived in a quiet place world?
I mean, I think it is family, really, that's the whole theme of the movie, is the need to protect your children. And you can see how that affects this family, of course, and then the sacrifices they have to make. And you can see how it's affected my character without revealing too much. But yeah, I guess that becomes the most overriding need or impulse, is to protect your family.
For sure. I mean, if you have anything to protect outside of yourself, I think that becomes your kids. And to what extent one would go neglect self or be, you know, careless about self and be more devoted to your legacy.
What is the most terrifying situation you've ever been in?
John and I were on a Vespa, and we no longer have that Vespa, because I was like, never again. We were going through this very busy intersection, and we got caught in this rut in the road, and I remember thinking, we're gonna tip. The whole thing was gonna tip. And through John's just like massively, I'm so grateful for his long legs, like, his like epically long legs. Like, I don't know how he did it, but he managed to just like stabilize us somehow, because the whole thing was going to tip over, and just through brute strength he managed to like get us out of it, because I thought we were about to tipple over and we would have just been run over. It was, I think that was one of the most scary moments I remember.
What was the most valuable lesson from working in The Quiet Place?
Let's see, I would say the relationships. how we, you know, how the importance of how to communicate. And we communicate well on the set with Noah, John, Emily, Cillian, and Djimon, you know. But the original cast, we've gone through so many things together and had so many shared experiences. We each brought our memories from the first film into this one, which was enriching. Crazy.
In the movie, the whole goal is to run away and like survive from the whole monster apocalypse. But have you ever been in a situation so awkward that you actually wanted a monster to swallow you whole?
During a press junket? Oh God, I think probably when you're a teenager, right? Where you're just so embarrassed by everything anyway. You just want to be like swallowed whole by a monster in certain environments.
What was the most interesting experience from working together in A Quiet Place?
Well, it was great for me because I'd admired Djimon's work for a long time, obviously, and to get to meet him and then to work with him. That's great when you get to work with actors that you admire.
Yeah.
And particularly when they turn out to be really nice people as well. That's a bonus. And excellent drivers.
Yeah, well, thank God I didn't ram him into the wall. Well, thanks for the confidence.
No problem, man.
What do you think is the scariest thing about the world right now that we live in?
There are so many things happening right now in this world. I guess I don't want to focus on the negative, but I think there are so many ways that we could make people's lives better, and just by helping each other. I think it's a matter of having more education. You know, I think we are getting better. I do.
I agree. I think we're getting there.
Okay, so A Quiet Place is set in a post-apocalyptic world where a family is trying to survive by avoiding these creepy, weird creatures. They cannot make a sound because even the slightest whisper of footstep can alert the monsters. If they hear them, they will hunt and kill them. So A Quiet Place 1 ends with Lee, the father, dying to protect his children.
Out there worth saving.